Thomas Joy from Cushing, Iowa.
And tell me what you do. Tell me about yourself a little bit.
I run and operate para polishing, where I specialize in polishing semis, car parts, motorcycle parts. It's aluminum and stainless. I can usually make it shine.
How did you get into this?
I got into it actually, so it'd be 7 years ago almost. I started polishing, started trying to teach myself how. Before leading up to that, 9 years ago, I got in a car accident that left me paralyzed, and I was pretty lost. Andy Getch, who I used to pull for before my accident, told me regardless of, what life came out for me, he would always have a job for me. And I was looking at going and being an office dispatcher for him. And as I was considering that job opportunity, it just mentally drained me. So that's where I bought some polishing supplies and started teaching myself how to do this. And here we are almost 7 years later with the craziest job I've ever tackled behind me.
Did you start with his fleet, working on his fleet, or just whatever?
No, I started with basically some junkyard rims. And then from there, it was just whoever I could find to trust me to practice my craft. I just kept getting hungrier and hungrier. I met King of Bling on Instagram. And once he started answering questions for me, I could see everything changing for me.
Can I ask about or how old you were when this began? Like when you started the new career?
With my polishing career, I would have been probably 28-ish, 28 or 9, right in that realm. I'm 34 now. And yeah, I've just been chasing shinier and shinier ever since.
Well, what's after this? It doesn't get much shinier.
I don't know what we do to raise the bar next. I got ideas to freshen this up, make it even brighter and cleaner for Atlanta. We were lucky enough to be invited down there in November, so I got to run this back through the shop, and I want to make it better yet.
How long did this whole thing take?
We had this trailer for 6 weeks, about 1,600 man hours, 3,500 sheets of sandpaper, about 100 buff wheels, and approximately a full case of compound in different variances.
How many people did you have helping you?
There was me and my hired man, Jason, and then Gavin Disney, a polisher from Clarion, Iowa, came down to my shop. Stayed at my mom's house for 6 weeks. He'd go home on the weekend, and then he would come back to the shop, and we just kept working.
Are you usually a one-man band, or do you have people working for you?
I got my hired man with me, Jason. Then I'm looking to keep adding people to the fleet and just keep building this empire.
Do you have a traveling system?
No, I'm all just in my own shop. I've got everything. Luckily, my dad's helped me engineer some tools and everything I need to adapt to be able to do this job as well as I can.
I assume it's been a lot of learning along the way, not just about the polishing, but about how it will work for you.
Yep, a lot of learning, a lot of trying to figure out how to manipulate with not only being paralyzed. I've got one arm that moves half as far as it's supposed to. So that throws some obstacles in as well. Then just learning how to adapt things and make it work for me.
And I assume that's a in-life situation also.
Absolutely. It's never ending for how to manipulate and maneuver through life now, because once you're in a chair and you start looking at the world, you realize how inaccessible it is.
Do you have any advice for someone who finds themselves in a situation like this? I know everyone's experience is different.
Yep, just don't give up. Push your boundaries, get uncomfortable, and find out what works for you. Don't be afraid to fail, because everybody's going to fail, regardless if you've got ability or inability. You're going to fail somewhere, somehow, and just don't let it deter you from finding that outcome, because one way or another you can be successful.
Are there some positives that have come through all of the difficulties?
Yeah, positive is the big one is my para polishing business. The biggest one is my Life Rolls On, a show for the kids truck show. All the money we raise is donated to the children's side of Madonna in Nebraska, and in the last 4 years we've donated $35,000 to them. And then this June 14th and 15th is this year's show in Sioux City, Iowa at the Tyson Event Center. So we're hoping to see what kind of numbers we can gain this year with being down here and people introducing and knowing who I am now and what the show is. And
well, say a little bit more about why they might know who you are even more. We're at the end of Louisville, end of Mats. We have an hour in front of us, I think, before the show's over. But what just happened this morning?
Yeah, we won the limited mileage, no mileage with a cab over truck, and built by Tyler Vanderswag out of Hull, Iowa. And this this 2025 Wilson slat side pot, and to our knowledge, it's never been won with a cab over, and it's never been won with a cattle pot. So we got the belt handed to us from Troy Massey after the awards, and Andy Getch is taking home the 2025 trophy for No Mile.
Wow. What's next for this trailer behind you?
This trailer will be put away. Yep, and he'll go to a couple shows with it yet this year. I'll freshen it up, get it ready. We're gonna have some different things done to it for Atlanta, so we can't wait to show some pictures, and just a few little tweaks we got to make to it. But yeah, and then after that, he'll run it for a couple years, and then it'll be put to work.
Well, see, I didn't even think of this until I interviewed him on the truck also. And of course, he talked about the trailer too, but it's great to hear your side of things, of course. But I mentioned, I can't even imagine putting animals in this now. And he said, well, before he would load anything on it, he'd have to like buff it up a little bit so they don't get scared or something.
Yep. The shine will keep them from wanting to go in there. Their reflection, and they might see their reflection or something of that nature. So yeah, they'll have to be perfect circumstances for him to get animals to go in there for the first run.
How did you manage polishing something so high?
Yep. So I started on the bottom and worked my way up. I would sand as far as I could reach out of my shop wheelchair, which isn't much different than what I'm in here. And then from there, I've got a pneumatic motorcycle lift that me and my dad and another friend of ours, Joe Redenius, widened out and then had a longer ramp built for it. So then I can slide I slide that over in front of semis. That's how I do herd bumpers, grill surrounds on Peterbilts. And then I could slide that over in front of this trailer alongside of it, and I would be able to reach the halfway point sanding. So where the floor starts, I could sand up to that mark, and then I could buff a third of the trailer comfortably down. So I was able to do almost half the trailer myself. And then from there, Gavin and Jason were in a scissor lift, and they took it over from there, and I showed them what to do and how to do it, what my pattern was for making it what it needed to be.
When did you start polishing on this?
We started polishing on it January 1st.
And it was 6 weeks. Was there any point where you started sweating a little bit?
A lot, yeah. We were hoping for like a 3 to 4 week job, and once we started approaching that, and it just was dragging on. It was one of those jobs where you'd flip the lights on in the shop, and you're like, we didn't get very far. But we just kept plucking away. We knew what we needed to do, and we made it happen.
Two-part question. One, would you ever do it again, something like this? Two, did you learn things, if you will do it again, that will help the next time be a different process?
Oh, absolutely. I would probably do it again. Obviously, I learned a lot about what I need to charge, honestly, charge accordingly. And I learned a lot in general about polishing on this one. Just to trust what I knew. I tried a different brand of sandpaper, and I should have just used what worked, because when I came to the driver's side, I used my normal paper, and it made a world of difference on time and supplies and everything of that nature.
You mentioned that the day you sold your truck was a rough one.
Yeah, the day I had to watch my truck drive out of town, that was a day that will be forever imprinted. So I was in the process of trying to get it bought from my grandma and grandpa, and luckily that didn't go through, because it would have been a whole new ball of worms trying to have that payment, insurance, all of that. And then because it was December, I was trying to buy the truck. It would have been of 2013.
From your grandparents?
Yeah, I was trying to get it purchased, and then 2014. No, I lied. 2016, I had my accident. So a month later, I got my wreck. Yeah, it wouldn't have been good if I had that sitting there with a payment and trying to figure that out.
Did the truck go to someone you knew?
Nope, it went to a guy out in Nebraska. And then actually when he sold it, I got a picture of it that year from, he sold it to a guy, Grant Vasky, over in Eastern Iowa. And he was at the NoCo show, over a junior show over there. And I got a picture of it in the light show. And then I had a friend go hunt him down, the new owner. And I stayed in contact with him. And when he rebuilt the truck, he hauled me the wheels. so I could polish the wheels on the truck when he rebuilt it, so I could still have a giant part in my truck.
Yeah, it's still part of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
The paint in the different places versus the polish. How did you approach this project?
Approaching it was just kind of at my show last year. Gavin said it would be cool to have a slat-sided pop behind the cab over, and I think Andy ordered it basically that same day, spec'd it, and told him what he wanted. And then from there, we got told we were polishing it as well, and there was hints of doing the inside. It wasn't ever a set in stone deal as far as, we were doing the inside, and then I got told when it got to my shop the inside was getting done, and Tyler and his crew just determined how to place painted parts to flow the inside to the outside and keep it all tied together nicely, and the outcome speaks for itself. This is a work of art behind me.
Definitely a work of art. For people who aren't familiar with cattle pots, is there usually a painted component to the interior of a trailer like this?
Nope, no, there's nothing painted. It's all raw aluminum.
So you started driving for Andy.
Yep, I pulled for Andy for a little over a year before I got my accident. Yeah, I got my accident, and it was like a big family working for him. Everybody took me under their wing and showed me how to haul grain, because I'd never hauled grain or nothing of that nature. Yeah, once I got my wreck, they all, still swarmed me and let me know that I was still a part of their gig, and from there, yeah, it spiraled into what we have these days.
Was that your first driving job?
No, I drove for my dad, hauled heavy equipment for my dad and grandparents out of Cushing, Iowa. Joy Dirt Construction was the name at that time, and I ran dump truck, hauled excavators, dozers, all of that stuff, and then went to work for a friend of mine that winter of 2014, and yeah, we bought a truck and off we went trying to haul grain.
So you're a third generation trucking industry?
Yep. My grandpa trucked through the 50s and up into the 80s when we started dirt construction, and my dad trucked through the 70s and 80s, and then he's still to this day at 71 hauls all his own heavy equipment around and does all that.
What sort of truck does he use for that?
We have a W900B Kenworth that we built back in 2004. We restored it, and yeah, it's our baby.
Sweet. Are there other trucks in the family?
Just his other dump truck could be the only other semi in our family, immediate family. I got a 91 Kenworth W900B as well for a dump truck.
All right. And what's the first truck you ever remember being around or in?
Oh, it probably would have been our International 4300, actually. Back in the day, it was our old single, our old Eagle. It was our lowboy tractor.
Did you polish on them as a kid?
No, I never polished, honestly, until I started dabbling in it. I took some hand polish to my truck once when I had mine, and after that, I didn't do anything until I bought buff wheels and compound.
So was this just a let's try it and see what happens, or did you? Yeah, all right.
I'd seen another post of a guy named Sanford Cohen. I'd seen he was in a wheelchair as well, and he was polishing a fuel tank. And I determined if he could do it, I could do it. So I bought some supplies, and Nathan and Brian Sheever out of Cushing, Iowa allowed me to start practicing on their trucks. And yeah, I just kept going after it and chasing that shine.
Amazing. So what's next for the business then, your business?
That I don't know. Just keep adding. I'm booked into August as of right now already, and just keep adding. Hopefully employees, keep growing it, and hopefully one day I don't have to run a buffer as much. As a lot of polishers know, it's very hard on you. But just, keep making things shiny and keep watching people's reactions.
Where can people find more information about your business?
You can get me on Facebook, Para Polishing. That's where I do most of my posting. Otherwise, JR Wheels Joy is me on Facebook, and Thomas Joy on Instagram and TikTok.
What about the truck show?
Truck show is Life Rolls On, truckshow.com. All the information's available there. You can register as a vendor. You can pre-register your truck. If you want to be a sponsor, it's all available there, and merchandise should be available next week on the website as well.
Fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
This was perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.